Alright, so I made a video about sadness and loneliness, and I got a lot of comments, and they were pretty interesting, so I'm going to go through them, and I'm going to go deeper into the epidemic of loneliness. So, Harvard did a study recently and found that 61% of Americans aged 18 to 25 reported experiencing severe loneliness. Severe loneliness being where they reported either experiencing loneliness frequently or almost always. So we have an epidemic of loneliness. The average was 37%. That's more than 1 out of 3 Americans reporting feeling severe loneliness. So we have an epidemic. We've never been more connected, but we also have never been more fragmented and not connected to each other in a deep, meaningful way. Now, I'll explain my situation. I used to have a lot of really close friends that I hung out with all the time, with whom I had real, authentic, deep, meaningful friendships. When I was in college, I had a girlfriend with whom I did everything together, studied together, went out together, worked out together. She brought out the best in me, and I had lots of friends. I was in a fraternity. I was never lonely. And what was the result? Well, I graduated with a 3.7 GPA. I was president of the debate team. I was treasurer of the pre law society. I won an $8,000 scholarship essay contest. So they wrote me an $8,000 check. That helped with my tuition. That was nice. Yeah, so when I'm not lonely, I have a lot to contribute to society. But society is really fucked up. Modern society is screwed up because we have this epidemic of loneliness that makes people feel stuck and unable to contribute, unable to uh, progress in their careers or even start a new job somewhere meaningful. And they're just stuck at home binge watching TV shows and binge eating junk food. Like, I have an IQ over 130, and yet, you know, I had a meaningful career, and then I made a mistake as the accounts payable officer. There were two companies with the same name. One was an LLC, one was a corporation. I wrote the check to the wrong corporation, a wrong business entity, and as a result, this construction company didn't get paid, so they just didn't start working on this part of the skyscraper we were building. And so that delayed the whole building of this skyscraper by 6 weeks because they didn't get paid, and they didn't call and say, hey, we didn't get paid. They were like, well, we'll start when we receive the check. They must not have the money right now or something. So I got fired, and after that, I just lost all faith in myself. I took it as a blow to my self esteem, especially since I worked like 80 hours a week. I wasn't asked to work 80 hours a week, but I did anyway. I worked until they would kick me out at night because no one else was there, and I would show up on the weekends even if they didn't ask me to show up on the weekends, and I worked as much as possible, and I loved that job. And then I got fired. I was told I was a fucking idiot, and I just gave up on myself, and then got into a codependent relationship with an alcoholic because I wanted to save people. So I saved people by dating them, not by becoming a therapist or becoming a doctor or a pro bono lawyer or an inner school teacher or anything like that. Not by becoming Jaime Escalante or, Marva Collins, but by becoming a fucking codependent idiot where I was just enabling an alcoholic by trying to help her quit drinking, but I realized she was never going to quit drinking. She was going to drink herself to death, even though I loved her and she was a beautiful person. I had to cut her out of my life because she had just been through too much trauma. Her dad drank himself to death at 18 after she stopped talking to him, so she blamed herself. And her best friend hung himself and his dog when he turned 18 because his parents were abusing him and his dog. Um, I don't know why he would do that when he was 18 and was able to move out of the house. I guess it was just too depressing. His existence had been too hard, and he just gave up. Um, so those two things gave her PTSD. She would have night terrors, and she would drink to not feel that pain. And she would never approach it in therapy. She said, AA was a cult, Alcoholics Anonymous was a cult, and she wouldn't she wouldn't go to it, and yeah, it was hard because she was a very intelligent, very gifted person, a very talented artist. I mean, she would go on the train in Brooklyn and have an art piece, and people would be like, "I'll give you $2,000 for that." But it was for her graduate school project, so she couldn't sell it. And then she never started an online store for her art. Created, she never monetized it. She never got the right connections. She never did the right stuff to become a successful artist, even though she could have. And it's sad. Um, and then I only after college I just got into a series of codependent relationships because I wanted to save other people after feeling like I was a failure because I figured if I could save someone else I could regain my self-esteem and my self-respect. But that didn't happen. I lost all my self-respect. Came back here, moved back in with my parents, and now it's just like I think of myself as a fucking loser even though I'm not. Um I I'm sad even though I know I shouldn't be sad. If I was just happy and I just did the things I know I'm supposed to do, things would turn around. But I can't control my emotions and I can't make myself feel okay because I don't have any friends anymore like I had in college. I feel lonely like almost always. And I don't have anyone around me to light a fire in me, to inspire me like I did when I was younger. All my good friends moved out of this small town. They moved to Denver, Colorado. They moved to Brooklyn, New York. They moved to uh, Texas. They moved to different parts of Cali. And yeah, some of them I still speak with like once a month and have a 3 hour deep, meaningful conversation, but it's not the same as being able to hang out with them. I should have listened to my best friend Joe when he said, hey, just move out of there. Just move out of there, get a plane ticket, come over here, and just fucking do it. The way I thought I should have thought about it was get a plane ticket there. Uh, you know, have enough money to have a place to stay for a while in the Airbnb. Try to get a job within a week, which I could have. Um, and then take it as a working vacation. Try it out for a month or two. See if you like the culture in Denver, Colorado more, or in Cali more, or in Texas more. And if it doesn't work out, you can always come back and try a different place. And just don't tie yourself down anywhere while you don't have any obligations anywhere. Just try different places out and see if you can find a place where there's culture and there's lots of people you can have deep, meaningful relationships with. You know, you're a big fish in a small pond. Go to a big pond where you can find other fish with whom you can form a group of fish called school. But yeah, it would be a school because I would learn from them. I love learning from the people around me. I love being inspired by the people around me. I love being around people who are more talented than me, who are more driven than me, who are always trying to take the next step in their lives. And that would make me raise my standards. My greatest strength and my greatest weakness is I match my standards to those around me. Like you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But if I have no one to spend time with, um, I'm just alone and stuck, and it fucking kills me. So I'm gonna go through some of the comments here. How do you still have discipline when everything around you is so depressing? Quoting me. Yes, I'm going. This is someone who commented on the previous video. Yes, I'm going through this right now, and I just realized that this was the cause of my inaction and staleness lately. So interesting, this random video got recommended to me exactly when I was thinking about this. I think that the problem that makes us feel this way is because everything basically is depressing by default if we do not create something from nothing. Creating something from nothing, that's an interesting phase. Well, yeah, basically we do have nothing. We have no foothold to start off with. We don't have like a father who we can speak to about our problems, who empathetically listen and then give us some encouragement and some solid advice, or just someone who believes in us, who takes notice when we do something good and expresses that they're proud of us when we take positive steps forward, no matter how small. We have nothing like that. But we can't signal desperation and sadness to other people. Being desperate is pathetic. Plus, people reject desperate people, so we have to act like we're okay when we're not. So we're not a burden on those around us. When we have to go somewhere and interact with people, we act like we're fine. When people ask how we're doing, they don't actually care how we're doing. They're just being polite. So you just have to be polite back and say yeah. When they ask how you're doing, say yeah, I'm good. How about you? And they're just words. They don't mean anything. They're just niceties. That was my response. I should do this better, but so Anime Piano, that's his username, said modern society is just structured in a way where everything you have lays on very thin ice at all times. And you just basically have to build everything up again and again in life. Modern society is just structured in a way where everything you have lays on very thin ice at all times, and you just basically have to build everything up again and again in life. So, my response, I know exactly what he's talking about, but I don't know how to explain it. Everything you have lays on thin ice, very thin ice at all times, and you basically have to build everything up again and again in life. Yeah, this is true, but I don't know why it's true. You know, if I was Jordan Peterson or something, I could probably explain what it means and go off on a whole 10-minute tangent on what the thin ice means and what it means that you have to build everything up again and again. But I don't know exactly how to connect that to tangible examples right now. I just know it's true. I know what he means by that. So he said, but I'm not going to take the approach of just saying you just need to be thankful for what you got, or don't worry about it. It'll all be better in the future. Just have hope. Man, fuck that shit. It doesn't mean anything when the stagnation hits us. Everything is basically depressing, and we can't change too many things too drastically. And yeah, I understand this, you know. I've listened to all the right people. I've read Dr. Albert Ellis, A New Guide to Rational Living. I've learned cognitive behavioral therapy from him. I work with a really great therapist. I've listened to dozens of different experts and read dozens of different books by people explaining how you can get your life together. And yeah, when I'm in a good place, I can apply their knowledge and advice, and it works. But when you're stuck, yeah, fuck that shit. Platitudes aren't going to fix the stagnation. It's not going to get you unstuck. All I'm doing is spinning my wheels as I get older and older, and before you know it, I'll be 40 years old and still living with my parents. I tried going out into the world, but I went out in the world with the wrong people. I wanted to save people, so I dated girls to save them from depression, PTSD, suicidal ideation, cutting, alcoholism, you name it. And that was just stupid, so fucking stupid. I wish someone would have told me if you want to save people, it is to save the right people in the right way at the right time for the right reasons. Become a therapist or a teacher or a doctor or a pro bono lawyer, and learn the principles of how to save people correctly and productively. Don't date people to save them, because you're just going to end up in a codependent relationship, and those are toxic and they'll fuck up your life. And okay, going on with his comment, which is very long. He posted like a 500-page essay on my comment on my video. We can't just leave the country for 3 months and meet people and learn a new language or whatever the fuck. Doing stuff like that is just not realistic. We got the obligations in life we have to deal with right now, no matter how depressing it might seem, no matter what you do. I will say, however, if you can move somewhere else right now, do it. Just do it. I fucked myself so I can't leave here for at least another year. Got myself fucked with obligations, legal and otherwise. Most people who say that, it's not true. It's like, just get a plane ticket to Cali, to Colorado, to Florida, to another country, and just try to get a job. If you have a clean criminal record and you're young and you're ambitious, you can get a job in like a week. You'll find something. You might not start off with the ideal job, but start off with something and then try to, be ambitious and try to get something better than that and better than that, and just try to build a new life somewhere else and see if you like it better in Denver, Colorado, or Miami, Florida, or you know, you know, Miami, Florida, or whatever. Like I said, just try living somewhere else for a while. Meet new people, experience a new culture. If it doesn't work, you can always get a flight back home. Consider it a working vacation. Maybe you go to Colorado, find a job, stay there for 2 months, see the world through a new lens, and come back home with a whole new perspective on life. Don't get tied down with the relationships. Don't get tied down with a job. Just explore the world for a while, build your resume, learn new skills, stay out of legal trouble, and just have fun for a while you're young. My sisters did the smart thing. They got out of here when they were young and started new lives in new places and moved around the country till they found the place they wanted to settle down. And now they're happy. Of course, both of them married up. They married into healthier, wealthier, more stable, loving families. I do believe, okay, so this is him again. I do believe in one piece of advice that can be helpful for this, and that is to realize that life is temporary and you can basically choose between death, which would be nothingness, or our existence, which we are stuck with. Your body, your soul, whatever. At least in the second option, where you choose to live, we don't know what will happen, right? I have no clue where I'll be at in 5 years or which people I'll be associating with, and that in of itself can make the existence seem less depressing. Think of it as an unpredictable and unprecedented story in a dramatic TV show or game, and you can just live that story and be amused. Yeah, some level of detachment can help. I think you do need to detach yourself from yourself when you're in these sort of situations. Observe your life as sort of a third party, but I can't really think of my life as an unpredictable and unprecedented story or a dramatic TV show or game. You know, Joe Rogan talks about thinking of yourself as the hero of your own movie. But my life isn't that interesting. I kind of wish my life was structured like a video game. If I had points and earned points for doing good things like reading a book, and I could see myself leveling up, and I could see the experience points I earned from doing something good, like immediate positive feedback when I practiced guitar or read a book, and I saw my intelligence level going up, and I saw, social life points going up, and I saw like, ding ding ding, like whatever. When I did something good, like I could see myself leveling up, and I could see when I did something bad, like getting, taking damage or whatever. Like I ate junk food, I could see my HP going down. I wish I could. My life was, structured like that, because then I would have like a clear, okay, I would get positive feedback when I did something good. Like I would feel seen by the universe, but I don't feel seen by anyone right now. I don't feel seen. I don't feel acknowledged. Nothing and no one is keeping track of how well I'm doing. I mean, besides my therapist, but man, my performance really won't really impact your life. If I had to live to save somebody else, if there's someone I had to save right now, I would work so fucking hard to save that person. I would take so much better care of myself. I would get my shit straight if there was someone in my vicinity who I had to save. Or if I just had a friend nearby who I could hang out with and who I could talk to on a daily basis about how I was doing, and I could go to the gym with them, and we could talk about self improvement together, and we could have a meaningful relationship, and I could hang out with them, and we could be in it together. Like things would be so much easier. Or if I just got $100,000 out of nowhere, like that would solve all my problems logistically, because I could just you know use my money to get detached from all my obligations here and just move somewhere else, get a fresh start, not worry about money, and just focus on finding something meaningful to do with my time. So right now, money is just a barrier to doing the things that I want. I don't have the equipment I need to do a podcast. I don't have the money and free time I need to, you know, start a blog, start writing, start working on an online writing portfolio. Like, it's like, oh no, I should be working a second job as like a server right now. Because I need to save up money for a vehicle and all that shit. Because I got a DUI because I'm retarded, and it's fucked up. Um, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah. So he's like, yeah, just just like think blah blah blah. So he says this will also deflect your focus from your mental state and feelings all the time to whatever new thing that will happen in your life. You don't have to look around you every day and focus on what is depressing. If everything you see is gray, let it be gray and don't pay it any mind. That's what I do, and I hope at the end of the day it will lead to that life of color again. Maybe it's a person to care for or something else. And it's like, yeah, everything I see around me is gray. Like when I was younger, everything, the colors in my life were so much more vivid. My senses were so much more vivid. Like my emotions were more vivid. I could experience happiness more. I could experience excitement. I could experience, like, I could daydream more vividly. Like my brain was more on. Like I have all this brain fog now, so I can't think straight. And like I just don't feel emotions as much anymore. It's like I'm kind of dead inside. And I'm just adapted to this world of grayness. Like all the colors are gray, they're just so fucking gray, and I don't want to engage in this world because it is so depressing, and it is just toxic and just bringing me down. And it's like, oh, how do I escape from this? I want to run away to somewhere else and just start over, but I don't have that option right now. And I should have taken it when I was younger, but I said, no, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. And then I just got stuck here in this depressing fucking cycle and never got my shit together when I should have just gotten out of here a long time ago. If you're stuck in a small town and you're young, get the fuck out of there. Just get a plane ticket somewhere. Fucking, live with like five other people in like a one bedroom apartment while you work as a fucking server somewhere, and then get two jobs, and then get your own place, and then meet cool, interesting people. Like go to a yoga class, go to a fucking spiritual group, go to a debate team, go anywhere. Take some classes at a local college and meet people and fucking find cool, interesting people you can get along with and fucking start a new life and fucking explore the world. Like, get the hell out of your small town while you still can. Don't get stuck here. Just save up that money for a plane ticket with no plans whatsoever. Just go there, and if it doesn't work out, you can always call your parents and ask, say, hey, I'm stuck here. Can you please help me out? I don't have money left for a plane ticket home, and they'll send you money to get a plane ticket home, and you come back here and try again later. Maybe save up a little bit more money so you have a little bit more of a cushion just in case. But if you have a clean criminal record, you're young, you have a high school diploma, or even better yet, a bachelor's degree, just fucking travel the world, get different jobs, look for different opportunities, try out a bunch of different things. If you get fired from one job, maybe you're in accounting, try marketing, try a social job, try something else, go into a different industry where you're not crunching numbers all day, or try becoming a substitute school teacher, try becoming a therapist, try doing anything else. Just intern at different places and see like where you fit into all this. And he goes on. I, as well as you, feel that everything is kind of set up to or present the risk of just being isolated and lonely, and all human connections just vanish, and that's what starts to make everything uninspired and depressing. But we live in a society, and this is the life you all have accepted or are forced to accept. People will be very focused on themselves. Everyone lives like it's a game of collecting the most gold coins for themselves, even though most people are completely unaware that they are programmed this way. It makes it very hard to connect with others since no one knows how to. Career over love, right? Yeah, I suppose. But a good career can give you a social life and give you a sense of purpose, especially if it's a career where you're actually helping people. If you're a therapist, you can actually help people every day. You can actually inspire people to pursue something more meaningful in life, and you can be that person, you can be that mentor that helps them. Or you could be a teacher who reaches out to those students who have lost their way, who are directionless, and say, hey, I was you once. Like, let's like figure out how you can find something in life that'll help you get on the right track so that you know what you want to do in the future, and you can figure out what are your primary basic needs, what are your interests, what are your strengths, what's your personality like. Let's take the 5-factor personality test. Let's look at your IQ. Let's look at what you're capable of. Like, are you an intellectual? Do you need intellectual engagement? Are you a creative person? Do you need to engage in creativity? Like, what type of person are you? Where would you fit? Like, what would make you most happy in this life? Let's sit down and figure that out together. If you're that type of teacher, God bless you. You're saving lives. So, I could also go around the world and change myself completely if it's for others, like building discipline with your hobbies and getting physically in shape. One thing that takes away that existential dread I feel most days is just sitting around and someone comes to me with a problem. They're going through something and they choose to speak to me about it. I can get distracted by their problem. Get out of my own way to help other people, because truly, what else is there to do in this world? People underestimate true connections nowadays, even though it's so obvious. It's what we need the most. If a person was alone on planet Earth with no other human beings existing, they died from some time. So only you and animals were still alive. Does it matter if I go to work or play the piano as my hobby, or work out or develop discipline? It doesn't. It doesn't. Does it? It would just be cope in a dreadful existence, waiting for the time to finally end. So yeah, if you were stuck on Earth with other human beings, there'd be no point to doing anything. You know, it's all about the connections we make with other people. So I agree. That's what I thought about regarding this topic. Anyways, if someone read it to the end, you are just the best. And also, sorry for bad English. That's all right. And like I think I said before, so Harvard did a study finding that 61% of the participants aged 18 to 25 reported feeling alone frequently or almost always. About half reported going weeks without anyone having asked how they were doing in a way that made them feel that the person genuinely cared about their well-being. So people go weeks without anyone saying, "Hey, how are you doing? Like for real, what's going on, man? How you doing, bro? Yo, be honest. You all right? You know?" People go weeks without anyone calling and actually just having a real conversation, like actually making a phone call and saying, "Hey, man, hey, how you been, dude? What's going on, bro? Are you alright? Like, how you been, dude? Are things bad? Things good? Like, you know, blah blah blah. Like, this is how I've been. Like, how you been? Like, a simple phone call could save someone's life. You don't fucking know. Um, Surprisingly, I'm being sarcastic. They also found that people who feel lonely tend to be more critical of themselves. No shit, really? Lonely people are more critical of themselves? Someone called the Nobel Prize Committee. This is a fucking major finding. No shit, people who are alone are more critical of themselves. Um, and they're more pessimistic and more likely to expect social rejection. Me, I don't expect social rejection. I just don't expect to find people who I can open up with and have a deep, meaningful conversation. Because most people dread meaningful conversations like they're fucking grenades. They just want to have surface level conversations and just kind of bullshit because they don't want to talk about their feelings or real issues because they ignore that shit. They ignore it because so they don't have to think about it, so they can pretend they're okay when they're not. Um, so I have surface level relationships with not friends but associates, but it's not like they're the type of people I can open up to. I still talk to my best friend Joe, who lives in California. About once a month, we have a 3 hour conversation, a 3 hour conversation, a deep and meaningful conversation. But it's just not the same as having close friends like that I can hang out with on a regular basis, which I used to have. I was really happy and successful. Like I said, when I was in college, I had a good girlfriend. I had lots of friends. I felt good. I wasn't lonely. I graduated with a 3.7 GPA. I was president of the debate team. Won an $8,000 essay scholarship. I won $8,000 for an essay I wrote, and I never felt lonely. I was doing great. And then after college, I had a job, got fired, gave up on life, and then it was all downhill from there. If I just had a mentor, someone there for me to give me solid advice to help me navigate the real world, like my life would have been turned out 1,000 times better than this, and I could have actually spent the last how many years of my life helping other people with a career where I could have lived up to my potential and actually had a positive impact on the world around me and been happy with that. But no.